The pit forms in your stomach. A cold knot tightens just beneath your ribs. You hear the words leave your mouth, seemingly innocent, casually shared. Then you see it, a flicker in their eyes. A subtle shift in their posture. A predator's calm. You've given them a key. A weapon. You recognize the feeling. That lingering unease after a friendly chat. The sudden chill when you replay a conversation, realizing too late how much you revealed. How much was extracted from you? That gnawing suspicion. Was it ever truly casual? Or were you being probed, dissected, your deepest vulnerabilities laid bare without your conscious consent? You felt a quiet invasion. You felt exposed. This is not paranoia. This is not imagination. This is the silent art of covert interrogation. A precise mechanism. A dance of mirrors and whispers, designed to unravel the architecture of your internal world. It is a game played daily, in every office, every social gathering, across every seemingly harmless coffee table. It is the careful construction of a trap, baited with empathy, understanding, and the illusion of connection. Your secrets are currency. They don't brandish a badge. They don't shine a lamp in your face. Instead, they leverage the most potent forces of human psychology. Robert Cialdini mapped these levers: reciprocity, liking, social proof. Your desire to be liked. Your inherent need to feel understood. They offer a small, manufactured piece of vulnerability first. A minor confession. A shared triviality. And you, conditioned by the unspoken rules of social exchange, feel compelled to reciprocate. You give a little more. You open up. This is not genuine connection. It is a meticulously calibrated exchange. A quiet form of pressure. Milgram showed us how easily authority, even perceived, can bend us to its will. Here, the authority isn't overt. It's the subtle authority of the listener, the confidant, the one who seems to get you. They create a vacuum, and your unspoken truths rush in to fill it. Every word is a probe. They employ the art of the carefully placed question. Not a direct inquiry, but a broad, open-ended statement designed to solicit detail. Things must be tough for you, navigating all of that. Not a question, an invitation, a wide-open gate to your carefully guarded mental landscape. They use mirroring. They mimic your body language, your vocal cadence, your emotional tone. Your subconscious registers familiarity, safety, kinship. Carl Jung understood the shadow self, the parts of us we deem unacceptable, the desires we bury deep. These interrogators seek to find those buried things, to bring them into the light where they can be observed, catalogued, and later exploited. Machiavelli would recognize this. He understood the hidden motives beneath polite society, the ceaseless striving for advantage. The man who appears to seek only friendship may, in truth, be charting your weaknesses. He described how men are drawn to self-interest, how appearances are merely tools. Your trust is a lever. Understand this truth, stark and unyielding. The world is not a safe space for your unfiltered self. Every friendly smile can hide an agenda. Every comforting nod can be a data point. Your raw vulnerability is not a pathway to intimacy. It is a resource for those who understand how to mine it. They are not seeking to empower you. They are not genuinely connecting with your deepest self. They are performing an assessment. They are identifying the raw nerves, the unresolved traumas, the secret ambitions that can be twisted into influence, into control. They are searching for the chink in your armor. The comfort you feel, the ease with which you speak, is often the most dangerous illusion. It is the bait. They cultivate an environment where you want to disclose, where you feel safe enough to surrender your defenses. This is not love. This is strategy. This is power. They don't want to know you. They want to own you. The weaponization of empathy is perhaps the most insidious tactic. They listen intently, not to understand, but to identify patterns. They reflect your feelings back to you, not to validate, but to encourage deeper excavation. They create an echo chamber where you hear your own secrets amplified, feeling understood, when in reality, you are merely being recorded. Nietzsche spoke of the will to power as the fundamental drive. In these covert exchanges, the will to power manifests as the silent struggle for informational advantage. Who holds the most valuable secrets? Who knows where the other's pressure points lie? The friendly conversation is merely the soft ground where this hidden battle takes place. You are giving away the blueprints to your own cage. Think of it as active listening with a dark purpose. They aren't just absorbing your words. They're analyzing your pauses, your shifts in tone, the topics you avoid. They note the subjects that make you uncomfortable, the names that make you tense, the dreams that make your eyes light up with an almost painful intensity. These are not trivial observations. These are targets. They are building a psychological profile. They are identifying your triggers, your hidden desires, your greatest fears. And they do it all while making you feel like the most interesting person in the room. This quiet dissection, this intimate violation, is often indistinguishable from genuine interest to the untrained eye. Beneath the mask of sincerity, always assume calculation. You are not being paranoid to suspect this. You are being observant. You are being awake. The innocence you project, the open-heartedness you cultivate, are not virtues in this landscape. They are vulnerabilities. The world trains you to trust, to share, to be authentic. It calls this emotional intelligence, or building rapport. But beneath these sanitized labels lies a brutal truth. Information is power, and your deepest self is the most potent information you possess. When you offer your secrets without critical thought, without careful calibration, you are handing leverage to others. You are giving them the means to influence your decisions, to exploit your weaknesses, to shape your narrative without you even knowing the hand that pulls the strings. They become the puppet master. You become the puppet. You are not free if your truths are held hostage. The shift required is not to become cold or distant. It is to become strategic. It is to understand that boundaries are not walls against connection, but perimeters of self-preservation. It is to realize that the art of self-disclosure is not about unregulated honesty, but about controlled release, a strategic unveiling. You must learn to read the room, to interpret the subtext, to recognize the subtle cues that signal an informational probe. You must become adept at deflecting, at redirecting, at offering pleasantries without revealing the core of your being. This is not dishonesty. It is self-defense. It is the protection of your sovereign self. The ultimate power lies in control over your own narrative, over your own information flow. It means understanding that the most potent form of defense is to deny the enemy the intel they seek. And in this silent war, everyone is, to some degree, a potential interrogator. What you hide, you own. What you reveal, they own. For the next 7 days, you will shift your role. You will become the observer. You will become the silent interrogator of your own interactions. 1. Listen to the questions. Not just the words, but the asterisk intent behind them. Is someone genuinely curious, or are they subtly nudging you towards a specific revelation? Notice the questions that are not questions, but invitations for you to elaborate on a point of weakness. 2. Practice shallow sharing. When prompted to reveal something personal, offer a small, superficial truth instead of a deep one. Observe how others react. Do they push for more, or are they satisfied with your controlled offering? 3. Identify the reciprocity trap. Notice when someone offers you a small piece of seemingly personal information. Does your mind automatically feel a tug to reciprocate with something more significant? Resist that urge. Recognize it for what it is. 4. Observe mirroring. Notice if someone subtly copies your posture, your gestures, your verbal tics. Understand that this can be a tactic to build artificial rapport, a means to disarm you. Don't let it fool you into lowering your guard. 5. Guard your emotional reactions. Pay attention to moments where your emotional response feels heightened: defensiveness, anger, sadness, overwhelming excitement. These are your raw nerves. Learn to internalize them, not externalize them on demand. Keep them hidden. 6. Identify your voids. What topics do you tend to over-explain? What insecurities do you rush to justify? What past events do you repeatedly revisit? These are the areas where you are most vulnerable to probing. Recognize them. 7. At the end of each day, reflect on one conversation. Ask yourself, what information did I give away? What information did they try to extract? How could I have responded differently to protect my internal landscape? This is not about building walls around your heart. It is about understanding the unseen architecture of social power. It is about reclaiming your sovereignty. It is about refusing to be a puppet on someone else's strings. It is about seeing the world and yourself with clear, cold eyes.